Seriously Sinister discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or it could be easy listening to all of you psychopaths out there.
Names and places have been changed to protect the hosts legally.
Listener discretion is not advised. Seriously Sinister.
Welcome to Seriously Sinister, the show that wets the bed and then blames it on the dog. This is Trevin, and I am actually here with Alecia from the show Twisted and Uncorked.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for being on the show. Everybody, if you did not catch last week's episode, that was Amanda's last before popping the baby out. I cannot provide you any updates because I'm recording ahead of time. Actually, she is due in 2 days from the moment I'm recording. So the next episode you hear, I will give you updates. But if you're on social media, I'm sure you've probably already seen plenty at this point. So Alecia is the first of what I'm going to be calling my Seriously Sinister and Friends segment. Or I'm just going through a phase right now, I suppose. So this is my Seriously Sinister and Friends phase. And she is our guest co-host for this week. So, do you have a dreadful dilemma?
I do, and I hope that your listeners and yourself find it relatable, but also ironic considering I do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I have horrendous phone anxiety.
I can relate.
And I don't like talking on the phone, even with customers for my work. If I can, I'll usually just email them. So my dilemma is that in order to help me get past this, my husband will no longer be calling in my to-go orders for me.
Oh, so a little exposure therapy to make yourself better.
Yeah. So whenever I want my cheat meal throughout the week, I have to call it in myself now. And I don't know how I'm going to cope with it. I really don't.
Oh, damn. So I'm guessing, is this like a smaller restaurant is your favorite or something? Because most places you can order online.
Yes, it is a smaller restaurant. It's a local pub by my house. They do everything by hand. They're about a 15-minute walk from my house. Everything is so good on their menu. So I usually call in to them for to-go. And now I'm going to have to start calling them myself, and I'm not happy about it.
Damn. Well, it's worth it.
I could pay the extra money for Skip the Dishes, but it feels really wasteful when it's a 15-minute walk from my house to pay that extra money, you know?
No, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's my dilemma.
I wish I had more things in walking distance for myself.
That's literally it within walking distance from here. But yeah, that's what he's decided to throw at me. And I'm like, why? We've been together for 10 years. Why would you do this to me?
Yeah, what a rude dude.
Right? Like out of nowhere, just like, you need to get past this phone anxiety. I'm like, no. Do I? Do I though?
Yeah, what does he think he is? Like a psychiatrist or something with this exposure?
Yeah, right? And I'm the one that went to school for psychology. So like, what does he know?
Yeah.
I've been doing just fine, okay? I balance it out with podcasting.
Yeah, you should throw some kind of psychological term and be like, this is why this doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's totally going to do the opposite. Maybe that'll work. I'm glad you relate to that, though.
I can, but you're also, at the same time, if you think of all these different ways to get him off the scent of trying to help you, I don't know. I guess it just kind of looks desperate. If you're putting so much effort in not using the phone, it really does show how bad the anxiety is.
I'll skip my cheat meal this week, and then I'll go in the following week with a psychological term. Then it'll throw him off. He'll forget about it.
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Right? I know. Total first world problem, but I hate talking to people on the phone. Like, my friends know this. They'll call me and I won't answer the phone. And they're like, what is wrong with you? You just texted me. And I'm like, no, this isn't how this relationship works. I will have a video conversation with you, but I will not talk to you on the phone.
I do similar things with my corporate job. When people call, I won't answer it and I'll just send an email. It's like, I'm pretty sure this is exactly what you wanted. Here's everything you want. And I'll just give it in like 3 paragraphs. I'm like, if you have a question, then that's on you. You must not be able to read because I just gave you every answer you could possibly want.
I'm so sorry. I was in a meeting.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, I'm always in a meeting and it's only when the phone rings.
Exactly. So what is your dreadful dilemma?
My dreadful dilemma actually is really similar to yours.
Yes.
and you might be able to relate, even though I know you have way more practice under your belt. I have Zoom anxiety, actually.
What?
And here we are.
Oh my gosh, I would have never guessed.
Yeah, I have a hard time with Zoom. During the pandemic, I never really had to be forced into it that much. When I worked from home, I just handled some phone calls, but really I was able to take care of everything just through text and emails and stuff. But yeah, I had to do with Amanda. We did a Christmas party through Zoom. I kind of dropped the ball on that. That was really kind of awkward. So I always told Amanda, I said, we are never going to do this show through Zoom. I won't do it. I said, we need to feed off of each other's energy. We have to be in the same room. We can't do this. But then this whole pregnancy thing came up, and now I was like, well, if I'm going to get some hosts in here, I'm going to have to learn to do some Zoom. But it's just, I watch so many things on the internet where it's like Zoom fails and stuff, and it's just like, what's gonna go wrong? You know, I'm being recorded right now. Anything could go wrong. I'm just self-conscious that a dick's gonna pop up behind me somewhere, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want that to show up. Like, what's going on?
Well, considering I would think that Emily doesn't have a dick, so if that's popping up behind you, I feel like we should be more alarmed about a home intruder type situation
That's
than
true.
anything else. But I mean, are your cats or dog known to flash occasionally, or
Oh yeah, this house is just, it's army of buttholes.
full of flashers?
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, see, when you were on our 50th episode with Amanda, I would have never guessed that you had Zoom anxiety. So,
Well, I'm getting better at it. And I think also a thing with me with my anxiety is just this show in general has made me so much more sure of myself and more together with things than I ever was before. I mean, I'm willing to, next convention, go up and do a panel or go up and talk in front of people. And that's mainly just because
hell yes,
it's for the growth of the show more than I got to push my problems aside because I got to give the people what they want, you know?
absolutely. It's so funny how that like stage fright almost kind of goes away when it comes to a podcast, because it's like your extra personality kind of comes out and you're like, all right, let's do this damn thing. Because feeding off your listeners and everything like that is so much fun too. So it's kind of a motivation than anything.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is my passion, and I'm so happy with it now that it's just such a good way to get all my thoughts out. Even when I'm talking about a small petty crime, I can still talk about maybe my problems with corporate America. I mean, that pops up in stories all the time.
Yeah. Or surprise penis showing up behind you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fear that I think we all have.
I will warn you. I will let you know if I see any.
Thank
we'll have
you.
a code word. Isn't it pineapples? That was our code word last time, right?
Yeah, that was our last time.
That works. That works again.
Okay, yeah, I will work with that. So for everybody out there, we usually do our segments where we have our trivia or our two truths and a lie. We're still going to do one, but just so I didn't have to make Alecia go back and listen to every single episode and make sure that she didn't accidentally give a fact that we've already done, I'm going to do a little thing that I'm calling Get to Know Your Host.
We got ways of making you talk.
First of all, before I start hitting you with some random ass questions,
I'm ready.
do you want to say a little bit about yourself first, a little bit about your show or whatever?
Sure. My name is Alecia. I co-host Twisted and Uncorked with my friend Sierra. And good thing neither of us have Zoom anxiety because she lives in another country. So we have no choice but to record our episodes that way. I am in Canada and she is in Nashville, Tennessee. We release Twisted episodes every Tuesday. So we cover a variety of topics from cults to paranormal to conspiracies, regular true crime, basically whatever your cup of tea is, we probably have it. And yeah, we have lots of fun. We like fun facts, sometimes more disturbing than others. And I did actually bring a fun fact for you just in case, but in case you put me on the spot because I did that to you. But no, it's lots of fun. We've been doing it for over a year now and we're loving it. So if you like Seriously Sinister and you haven't listened to our 50th episode, go do that right now. It was lots of fun. We kind of told them a bummer of a story, but Drevin and Amanda raised the energy. They made it a lot of fun. So.
Oh my gosh. Amanda and I have always said that we can't really handle a serious topic. And I feel like when I re-listen to it, I'm like, oh, every time you guys are saying something, I'm like, oh, let me crack a joke here. And I'm like, this is wrong. I'm making a joke of everything.
No, we do it. That's how we cope with some darker topics. And it's how we hope that people are enjoying listening to something that can be dark at times. So
Yeah.
obviously all tasteful because you're still dealing with victims and families that are still very much sometimes for local or recent cases that are still dealing with it. But yeah, that
Okay.
is my little spiel. I'm not as good at that as Sierra, but you will have her on at some point in this mix. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, you will hear the other half of this show. Okay, so you've given us the rundown. You're from Canada, and they have been on an episode of ours. I wish I would have remembered the episode number of that.
I think it's 37, if I remember correctly off the top of my head.
All right, they did the story of, I think his name was Trevor Jones.
Yes.
And he broke into the house, logged in on Facebook, left his Facebook logged in, and also left his keys in the truck.
Yeah. Rookie move. Like if you're going to rob somebody, maybe don't log into your social media until you get home.
Yeah.
Pro tip, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions that you maybe didn't think to answer.
Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry. Am I allowed to cuss on your show?
Oh, you're definitely allowed.
Okay.
So Amanda sent me this question, and Amanda wants to know, do you think you're better than me?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Trevin, not Trevor Jones. Trevin is low-key my hero, as I've commented on many of his hosts. So no, I don't think I'm better than you, Trevin. Or
Okay.
Amanda. Amanda's growing life. I can't say I've done that, so.
No. Yeah, that's something I'm going to probably hit every single one of our co-hosts with. Is Amanda wants to know, do you think you're better than me?
That's an amazing question. It totally throws people off.
Yeah, because you're thinking, oh, like, what's your favorite kind of candy or something? And I'm just like, no, hard-hitting question.
Definitely not better than you.
I should have them all recorded before yours airs, so none of my other hosts will know this is coming.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So we'll run through a little bit more. What movie scared you the most as a child?
Oh, as a child. The Exorcist, and I've never seen it.
Huh. Okay.
I was always told my external family is Catholic. I'm half Portuguese, and I was always taught that if you leave yourself open to something, that it might happen. So just the idea of watching The Exorcist scared the shit out of me because I was like, I'm going to get possessed if I watch it. I know it.
Oh, I know a lot of people and with Catholic families that are like that with like, oh, don't even talk about demons or whatever.
Yeah, right? It's not, oh God, your cat, the shadow, said demons. She jumped down. That scared the hell out of me.
I thought it was a dick. I'm sorry.
No penis.
Yeah.
No surprise penis. You're good. No, just a spooky shadow of your cat jumping that low-key looked like a human.
He does that sometimes.
Bad timing, dude. Okay, God. We're talking about The Exorcist here.
So, have you ever accidentally drawn a swastika with frosting?
No.
Okay.
I can't say I've drawn much with frosting, but I love that question. No, I have never done that.
In one of our stories in the past, it has accidentally happened once. So we're just trying to figure out, like, is this an epidemic that we don't really realize? And
yeah, is this a problem that other people experience? It's very reasonable. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Trevin and Amanda have been around for a while, guys. My memory's not that great.
Yeah, I know. That one was an older one that actually Amanda brought that one in as well. And I will ask you one more. Is mooning an acceptable form of revenge?
Absolutely.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
Especially if it's a photo bomb. Absolutely.
We are on the same page with that one. Okay, we're going to play one quick little round here of trivia.
Oh, yes.
Whoa, Trevin. We do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
And let's see if you can get this right.
No pressure.
In the 1820s, wealthy scholar Thomas Pettigrew was known for holding parties that did what? Is it A, Russian roulette, B, hunting the poor, or C, unwrapping mummies?
Russian roulette.
And you are incorrect.
Damn it.
It is actually mummy unwrapping.
What?
Yes, so I will give you a quick little rundown. I'm getting this from mentalfloss.com. But basically, in the 1820s, rich people thought it was really cool to exhume mummies, and then they would sell tickets, and they would just sell out places and say, "Oh, what do you think's inside this mummy's tomb or whatever?"
What?
And they would just look at riches and whatnot.
Just an invasion of the sarcophagus? Like, what?
Yeah, they would like ship them from Egypt to wherever they were at. I think a lot of it was in like the England area, and they would just sell tickets for it. But then eventually the wealthy were like, yeah, this is cool, but like most things, wouldn't a private show be better? So this guy would get these mummies, and he would have small little parties in his home, and they would just sit there and unwrap and be like, oh, look, a little jewel here, oh, an eyeball here, or whatever. And they just love to do it. It makes me think a lot of, do you remember that game that was big about 2 years ago where it was, what was it? It was like a ball of tape or something, and everybody would just pass it around and unwrap the tape and find money inside the tape.
Yes.
It was like that, but with a human.
Oh,
Except they probably didn't actually pass it around.
seems like in poorer taste, but I can understand the intrigue behind it. That
Yeah.
reminds me of the question you posted on your social media today about would you rather with a zombie or a mummy? And I was going to make the joke like a zombie, obviously, because you don't have to work as hard to unwrap it. But I guess if there's treasure involved, then maybe I have to switch my answer.
Yeah, that story comes out tomorrow, and that's actually what my reason was.
Ah,
I said every wedding day has a wedding night. I wouldn't want to have to put all that effort into unwrapping my undead bride.
seems totally reasonable.
Yeah, I'm a resourceful guy.
Efficient.
Yes. So that is our trivia. We've got to know you a little bit better.
I love it.
And I think it might be time we get into some stories.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Because this is my show to run and to help pave the way here for Alecia, I'm going to go ahead and go first. And this story is from the news. You know, it deals with something that I think a lot of people, especially in relationships, deal with. I don't feel like you so much because you are married. So,
One of those old married people.
yeah, one of those old married people. So this probably won't be as relatable for you, but I think a lot of people in the dating community can really get on board with this. So, here we go. Throughout our time with this show, we have dealt with a lot of scary subject matter. We've tackled what happens to a man after his cell phone is stolen. No! The fear one feels when they have to move out. And even an entire community's sense of dread when their American flags start disappearing from their porches.
Not my freedom.
These occurrences are unthinkable, heinous, and downright sleep-depriving. But what if I told you that there is a subject far scarier than anything we've ever talked about on this show? A nasty little shit that can burrow its way into people's minds and fester for years. It has damaged women's sense of security, and the mere utterance of the word can send a man running for the hills. I'm talking, of course, about commitment. Commitment can rear its ugly head at any given time. Do a good job at work for the first time? Your boss is going to expect a commitment to quality, that you can keep up this great work going forward.
I'll make sure to overwork you from now on.
Or maybe you and your significant other both had a conversation about how you liked watching Rugrats growing up, leaving your partner to assume that you too are in a rush for children.
You've made me so happy.
An agreement to commitment should always be a two-way street. Without the explicit understanding between two parties, you are treading dangerous waters. One person's acceptance to terms without the other's can lead to a lot of expectations not being met. The committed side of the party will keep a watchful eye on the other, expecting every move to be made in accordance to the end goal. Discontent becomes the air they breathe, until eventually they snap, causing them to make a scene in their favorite restaurant. Because their partner always orders the fried chicken sandwich, and that hamburger must secretly mean something else.
What are you hiding?
Situations like this will leave the other person confused, and the committed one to feel like they are going crazy. And let's not forget, it will make the hamburger less satisfying. In my world, I wage a large battle with commitment. Through my battles with OCD and the fact that I have a new existential crisis every waking day, the idea of permanence really freaks me out. When I find something that works, I tend to stick with it, out of necessity for how simple it allows my life to be. But there is one commitment that has always interested me. Tattoos. A good chunk of my friends have them. Emily has them, and Amanda has one. I do think they are cool, to a certain extent. I wouldn't mind having one, as it is a life experience that seems interesting to have at least once. But there is one problem with tattoos. The commitment. I've always loved the Saw movies, and I've always loved my own symbolism that I gave Captain America, thanks to my Mima. These are two tattoos that I've always considered getting. But anytime I kind of consider it, I can't seem to shake the feeling that I may wake up tomorrow and have no interest in either of those things anymore.
What have I done?
As if my 25+ year love for Captain America and my 18-year love for Saw will just vanish out of the blue. But we mustn't forget my existential side of this either. I look at bad tattoos like I look at stupidly political bumper stickers. If I see a stupid one, I'm at least internally shaking my head at you. I mean, tattoos basically are the bumper sticker of the body, especially if it's on your ass. But what if my tattoo is stupid? Anytime I think about getting a tattoo, I think about my cold corpse sitting on the mortician's table. The mortician walks in with his earbuds in, getting ready to do his work. He slowly pulls the sheet down to reveal a tattoo that he finds to be so incredibly distasteful that he spits out his ham sandwich that he was still chewing on from the other room. He may even go as far as to say, "Wow, what a stupid tattoo." Even if there is no consciousness after death, I feel like my body will restore just enough life to itself just so I can hear this one final insult before getting back to the big sleep.
I guess I'll just go back to being dead.
Today's story will circle around the act of commitment. And although I don't like to agree to such things, I can commit to this story being very, very petty. Jordan was a man in his late 20s, living in Clearfield, Utah. He loved 3 things in his life: his meth, his mobile home, and his girlfriend, Allie. They served as his trifecta of happiness. Although throughout the years, Jordan's relationship with Allie had been in a bit of a rut, he didn't feel too much sadness about it. With his 30-year-old birthday looming large, Jordan was in the awkward stage of still thinking he could achieve things in his 20s, but not quite being slapped with the realization of his age yet. Anytime Allie and him would get in an argument, he just shrugged it off, knowing that he could have a new girlfriend in less than 2 hours if he wanted to put in the effort.
Any woman would be happy to have me.
Jordan was always half in and half out of his relationship, especially lately. Over the past few months, Allie had started clogging up his shower drain with her hair, pushing her new keto diet on him, and even insisted on coming over to watch dramatic shows based off of true crimes every Friday night.
Let's relax and watch murder.
Every time the intro to The Girl from Plainville would start, all Jordan could think about was the video games he wished he was playing. Even when he would try to eat a snack to cover up these video game-driven anxieties, Allie would be quick to stop him. "Nuh-uh-uh, the popcorn is not keto," Allie would say. "Please, grab the pork rinds. I don't want to be tempted." Jordan felt trapped, but he didn't have to be for long. For their upcoming anniversary, he planned on making a huge move. With reservations to Applebee's set, Jordan was going to order a bottle of their finest champagne and break up with Allie. He figured that ordering the most expensive champagne would make him look good for any eligible woman already at the bar, once he left Allie at the table.
Oh hey, come here often?
It was the night of the big anniversary dinner. Jordan wore his best NASCAR shirt, while Allie dressed to the nines with her best spaghetti-strapped tank and no bra. "We'll take a bottle of your finest bubbly," Jordan said to the waiter. Sir, our Sierra Mist doesn't come in a bottle," the waiter explained. Jordan went on to tell the waiter that this was a very important meal and that they require an expensive alcoholic beverage.
Can't you see we're celebrating?
Allie's mouth was agape as she heard the passion in Jordan's voice. "Sorry about that," Jordan said, directing his attention back to Allie. "Oh, it's okay, Jordy Bear. I didn't know tonight was so special to you," Allie said, with a twinkle of love in her eyes. "Of course it's special. I've got big plans for us tonight," Jordan explained, looking off to the side and making a weird expression, almost like he thought he was Jim from The Office. Unable to contain her excitement, Allie stood up quickly. "Yes!" she wailed. "It would be my honor to move in with you in your trailer." Before Jordan could even explain his true intentions, Allie came around to his side of the table and covered him in kisses. For the rest of the dinner, Jordan drank his alcoholic icy with a gummy shark in it and thought about how trapped he felt. The whole ride back to Allie's place, Jordan listened to all of her plans for his mobile home. Pink curtains in the foyer, replacing the plastic sink in the bathroom for granite, and even removing the Xbox from the living room entirely, so every night could be true crime night. He kept his eyes on the road while the voice inside of his head was screaming for help. After dropping Allie off, Jordan drove home in a panic. He needed a way out. He should have stopped Allie's excitement and broke up with her there, but he knew he just liked to talk about stuff like that. He could never be so direct. He even considered sending her a breakup text, but he knew she would come over and try to talk him out of it.
We need to talk.
He was stuck. In Jordan's mind, there was only one way out of this commitment. Parking in his driveway, Jordan jumped out and began rummaging through his shed, looking for his automotive cleaner. With the cleaner in hand, he ran into his trailer. Unscrewing the top of the jug, he began to pour the contents all over the drapes and furniture. Once the inside of his home was properly soaked in automotive cleaner, Jordan stepped outside of his home, lit up a meth cigarette, and had a very dramatic movie moment. "Try moving into this house now, you shower-clogging woman," he said to himself, just before flicking the cigarette onto the highly flammable mobile home. His entire home became engulfed in flames. Jordan just sat there and watched it burn. With the sheer look of madness in his eyes, he knew that being homeless was better than sharing a home without carbs. In April of 2021, Jordan James Bergout caught his own trailer on fire. When first responders arrived on the scene and asked Jordan about the fire, he told them that he knew exactly what caused the fire, while going into detail about how he burned his own house down. Bergout went on to explain that his girlfriend had been planning on moving in, but things with her have not been going well lately. So he thought that if he burned down his house, he would no longer have to worry about his girlfriend moving into his home. The fire from his trailer also caught fire to the next residence, which reports state belonged to a family of 4. Jordan had also gone on to explain that he was a heavy user of meth and heard voices in his head. He was charged with the first-degree felony of aggravated arson. Hopefully next time you face a commitment fork in the road, you will think of Jordan, and remember that there are better ways to deal with this fear. There should always be at least 2 steps between initial conflict and committing arson. But as is the case with a lot of these crimes, this probably could have been avoided with a little bit of communication. Jordan could have broken up with his girlfriend, or at the very least, talked through his relationship issues. But we all know things don't work that simple when you find yourself smack dab in the middle of the sinister zone.
That was awesome. I feel like I had to bring out some popcorn at one point there. It's like, what's going to happen next?
I try to get pretty cinematic with what I do.
I love it. I love it. I hope I brought my A game for my story, but definitely a desperate way to get out of a relationship. Can't say that I would have gone as far as that myself.
Yeah, going homeless over living with somebody, that's a huge overcorrection.
He took a Larry when he should have took a Randy, but that's okay for him. But I got to ask you, what's the most desperate thing you've ever done to get out of something?
Oh, that I've ever done to get out of like anything? Or are you talking about a relationship?
Anything. It could be a relationship. I mean, I don't know. Does Emily no?
No, I haven't tried any of those moves on her.
She and all your animal buttholes are keepers, obviously, but
yeah, there are times where I would like to get away from boots sometimes, but I haven't tried any of those moves with them.
Oh.
Probably the most desperate thing I did was when I went to audio school.
Okay.
Actually, my ex-girlfriend, my first major girlfriend that I had growing up, she's actually a listener, but her and I, in the story where I went to Arizona and got jumped by the guy with the sword, we were having some relationship issues and we were breaking up, and I was 18 years old and it was like the first girlfriend I had ever had and I didn't know what to do. And that was probably one of the reasons why I went to audio school, was just like, I don't know how to handle a breakup right. So I said, I'll just move away to Arizona, I guess. So I would say that moving to Arizona, I mean, obviously I was into music too, but that was something that, I don't know, I just didn't know I didn't have that self-control or the ability to just be like, we should break up and stay broken up, or it was very desperate on both of our ends. And so I moved away and then texted her almost the whole time. So it's not like I could even like stick with my move.
Yeah. You're like, I'm sorry, I miss you.
Yeah, I can't wait to come home in a year.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty desperate. But hey, it all worked out now.
Yeah, now I've got these audio skills and I make petty stories.
Yes, and you do them well, my friend.
Thank you. I will say in this story, all of it is true except for like the whole Applebee's dinner and everything. I don't really know what led to her wanting to move in or the whole misunderstanding that she was going to move in. It seemed like a good enough backdrop for me. She could have just been very forward and said, hey, I'm coming in, I'm moving in, and that's when he did it. I don't really know.
Hey, you got to leave a little bit to the imagination. Am I right?
Right, and you guys get to hear my imagination, so there you go.
It was good. It was very good. And now I need to encourage you to get that tattoo, my friend. Get that tattoo.
Yeah, I'm planting the seed now to see if maybe the show will eventually drive me to making another step forward in my life by doing that.
Hey, you know what? You could always make that a challenge for your listeners. Be like, if we reach X goal for Seriously Sinister, I will get my first tattoo.
Hey, I would be down with something like that, and I think that would be an exciting thing.
Right? Marketing plug.
Yeah, once Amanda comes back, baby in hand, then we can go get that tattoo, I guess. Baby's first tattoo parlor visit.
I took that from The Office because you referenced The Office with Jim when Andy gets his first tattoo on his
Oh, yeah.
I mean, motivation works in mysterious ways. So
that's true.
Maybe your doomed crew really, really wants to see you get that jigsaw tattoo.
This show has really pushed me to do a lot of things. So
there you go.
I'm down for another life challenge.
Exactly. I mean, as long as it's something meaningful to you as well, I don't think you'll ever regret it. The youngest I was when I got my first tattoo was 16. And I still don't regret it. So
nice.
Had to get a little parent sign off for that one, but no regrets.
Permission slip.
Yeah. 12 years later, I still like it.
So I was talking to a coworker of mine back probably 10 years ago. And I said, oh, if I ever get a tattoo, I think I would get the Jigsaw tattoo from Saw because I just really love that movie and it did a lot for me. And this woman, she was like, oh my gosh, I would never get a tattoo with no meaning behind it. She said, that's why I have a tattoo of a butterfly with a smiley face, because I love butterflies and I love smiling. And I thought, wow, you really owned me there with that one. That's a lot
right?
deeper of a reason for a tattoo than what I was having, I guess.
No, not at all. I mean, I think meaning is in the eyes of the beholder, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody might look at the little elephant on my ankle and be like, what the fuck's that about? They don't know the meaning behind it. And for the record, I don't know if that person listens, but that sounds like a stupid tattoo.
I don't know if she does either, which is why I was like hesitant to say it, but I don't think she does.
She doesn't listen to my show, or maybe she does. But I think it's definitely in the eyes of whoever does it. So
yeah, I agree.
And I think that would be a really cool tattoo. I mean, I would like it.
Thank you.
And I was pretty afraid of Saw. I watched it for the first time to impress the boy that I was dating at the time, because I was a little bit of a gory baby when it came to that kind of stuff. And of course, in that first movie, he saws off his own foot. It's about as gory as it's going to get within the first 18 minutes. But you got to do what you got to do to impress the ones that you date, or go across the country to escape them.
Yeah, that's true.
Or light your own house on fire.
Right. I couldn't tell you how many girls that I've dated for even a short amount of time that have seen the first Saw movie just because of me.
Aw, look at that. They're trying to impress you. See, it's a move, ladies. You're welcome for that. Mm-hmm. Trevin was impressed. I like to think my first boyfriend was also. So there you go. For the record, the most desperate thing I did to get out of something was I sent my instructor pictures of a car accident because I was not ready for a test that I totally forgot about. And I didn't want to go to class.
That is a good one.
Right? I know. I feel bad about it to this day. But not as bad as these two people might feel. I got my dramatic hat on, and I have a story for you. What possesses someone to steal? Is it the need to have something you could never otherwise afford? Is it the thrill of not getting caught? Perhaps the motivation will always be unique in the eye of those with the sticky fingers. We may never know. In April of 2012, two young Welsh tourists were visiting Queensland, Australia. 21-year-old Rise Owen Jones and 20-year-old Carrie Mules. The pair were on an extended stay due to a working visa. Rise worked as a bricklayer and was on contract for a job. Carrie just along for the ride. The pair had been drinking that day, and in true drunken debauchery, hatched up a plan along with an Australian local to break into SeaWorld after closing time. Let's face it, all good ideas come from a drunken beach party, right?
Let's see who can collect the most felonies. Yeah!
After breaking into this aquatic establishment, they started by swimming with the dolphins, as we all dream to do. They also set off a fire extinguisher in a shark enclosure. Not really sure how that works, but let your imagination run wild.
Take this, you shark bastard!
But most egregious crime of all, they stole Dirk, a 7-year-old fairy penguin, from his enclosure. The next morning, the pair were hungover, and then the events of the evening before were quite fuzzy.
What happened?
But what set in the truth of their true actions was the tiny bird waddling around their suite. Unsure of how to care for such a tiny bird and such a strange and exotic penguin, they attempted to care for him by feeding him Doritos and placing him in the shower to get some water. Panicked, they were on a working visa and desperate not to get caught. Rise and Carrie bundled up the small bird and retreated to a local canal. There, they attempted to encourage him to swim. Go, my little friend, go, be free. Thankfully for the fate of little Dirk, 2 local men spotted these crooks and reported them to the authorities.
These guys have a penguin. It's not fair.
However, Dirk was the happiest when he was reunited with his girlfriend Peaches. They were inseparable, and his quacks and waddles reflected that he missed her dearly. Reunited at last, after 7 years of love together. But now, time for the crook's punishment. They had to step in front of Magistrate Brian Cucks. He was told of the tourists' actions and felt that they were immature and stupid, but that no malice was likely involved. Rise and Carrie's legal representative pleaded with Southport's Magistrates Court that they meant the animal no harm, that it was a prank simply taken too far.
They're so sorry, sir.
And also, why was it so easy to break into SeaWorld after close? The magistrate also heard how they had written an apology letter to SeaWorld and to the Australian public in general, how deeply they regretted their actions. In true drunken nature, we decided that we needed a penguin. Rise had always dreamt of having a penguin as a young boy, and when they saw that it was quite easy to break into the establishment, and when they first laid eyes on Dirk, it was love at first waddle. They simply needed him. But they deeply regretted their actions, and they felt as though they left the Australian public down. End quote. They pleaded guilty to the trespassing and the stealing and the keeping of the protected animal. Luckily for them, the appeal was accepted, and the magistrate opted not to record the convictions against them, but instead fined the pair 1,000 Australian dollars each for restitution. They also had to apologize to Peaches for taking her boyfriend. As a final scolding word to the men, the magistrate said, "You could have found yourself in a morgue, you know. If the wrong actions had been done in the wrong enclosure, perhaps next you will consider at your party to drink less vodka." The 18-year-old Australian local who had assisted the men in the break-in faced a single charge of trespassing, although his true fate may never be known. And that is the story of the darkest day in SeaWorld history.
That is such a crazy adventure and story. It really does feel like a real version of The Hangover.
It does. It totally feels like a real version of The Hangover. I'm not sure what their actual apology letter said, but I hope I amped it up enough for the petty crime that it was. In true Amanda fashion. I hope I did her justice for your first guest spot episode.
I think you did.
And also, fairy penguins are real fucking cute. All of your Doomed crew should go and look them up.
Maybe we'll put a picture of one on the episode post.
I think we need to post a picture of Dirk.
Yeah.
I found a pretty cute picture of him and Peaches together, and I think your listeners would like that one.
I think they would too.
Rude. Like, they've been together for 7 years. Don't separate them.
I think there's one story of it that I had heard, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I had heard that when they had threw him in the water to like try to hide him, that there was like sharks in the water or something.
Oh my God.
And if I remember right, Dirk had ran and swam out of the water quickly to get away from the sharks and got on the beach. And then there was a dog chasing him on the beach.
I did not see that, and I am so sad for him.
Yeah, when they found him, he was like bouncing back and forth between like, the water, the land. And then that's how somebody had found him.
That is like a goddamn cartoon.
Yeah.
That's literally like a Looney Tunes episode. It's like, do I die via sharks or do I die via dog? There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he made the right decision by
poor little bugger.
postponing it altogether.
He did. He really did. Poor little guy. I'm going to do a little look into that because that's horrifying. As soon as they said canal, I'm like, something's going to eat him.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You're an asshole if you're not going to go to like maybe a year of prison or like get extradited out of the country, but kill a tiny penguin? You have to be a monster to kill a penguin. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah. I think if I woke up with a penguin, I would be like, okay, I gotta take this thing back.
Yeah. I got to write an apology to the Australian public.
Yeah, I gotta turn myself in because this little guy's too cute, you know?
Right? I also have an irrational need for all animals in my life. Me and Sierra got in an argument about how I really wanted to adopt a raccoon. And she's like, you cannot do that. People sell raccoons. Why can't I have one? So I
Right.
also really want a penguin. That's being added to my list.
That would be tough to pull off. I think the raccoon's a lot more realistic.
Right? I mean, it's going to take all your shiny things and try and hide them. It might try and wash cotton candy and be deeply upset that it disappears. But I think all in all, it would be a very domesticated pet if born in the right circumstances. I mean, every rescue animal needs a home, right?
Right, I agree.
I'm the one reasoning with a man with 4 pets, so I don't think you need much convincing.
No, not really. I keep telling him, I'm like, I will not get another dog, but you could maybe get me on another cat.
That's awesome. If you could own any exotic pet, what would it be?
Probably like a Canadian lynx, like those large cats.
Oh, yeah.
That would
Those
be
are
really
really
cool.
pretty. You're a cat person, hey?
Yeah, I love cats.
I have an otter, a duck, all of the rabbits, a penguin, a raccoon, all of the
Mhm.
dogs and cats. Like, it's getting out of control real fast over here. A teacup pig
Oh,
that may or may not turn into a real full-size grown potbelly pig. That happens to the best of us.
yeah. Emily and I's first place together across the street was what the neighborhood called the Cat Man. And he had so many cats. Like when we went to go look at the house before we moved in, his whole porch looked like somebody just dumped a bucket of cats. Like it was just all these cats just like sprawled out. And I even told him, I was like, one of these is dead. But then they eventually got up. It wasn't. They were all just, they laid so comfortably. But over our few years living there, we got to know him a little bit better. And he put out these like igloo containers that he put heaters in to keep his cats warm at night. And we would always see raccoons come up because he would always feed the cats and the raccoons would come up and take the cats' food.
Of course, because they're scavengers.
Yeah, we watched one time where the raccoon had walked up on his porch and this guy always sat on his front porch and just like stared at the road. I think he just liked to spend time with the cats.
Yeah.
And so he was out and he stepped out and I was like, oh shit, dude, you're going to come out. And on the other side of that door is a raccoon. And he came out and just looked down, completely still, didn't even seem that worried about it, and just like leaned down and reached his hand out. And the raccoon didn't run. And I think he maybe touched it a couple times. He wouldn't actually straight up pet it. But like the raccoon actually just stood there right next to him there for the longest time. And Emily and I were just sitting there like, oh my God, like I can't believe this guy's doing it.
Your face is going to be clawed off, sir. What are you doing?
Yeah, but
Oh my God.
he was just like an animal whisperer.
I love that. I'm kind of like that. My friends calls me Snow White as a joke because we'll be running around and doing a hike and whatever, and animals literally follow me. I don't know if it's because I always smell like I have snacks, which I do, but
That'll do it.
or if it's like the kind eyes or what, but no, definitely.
Or your beautiful singing voice.
Or that. I can't say that anybody agrees with that statement, but we'll test it out one day and see in true Snow White fashion. But definitely just want all of the animals.
So I'm taking over for Amanda and finding a connection.
Oh.
And I think I'm going to fail my first time. I'm trying to think.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Amanda and I never plan ours ahead of time, so we always make one up or find it in the moment. Yours was with a penguin in like the water, and mine was with a guy setting fire and commitment. Can you think of anything in those that we can somehow BS our way through a connection?
That somebody really wanted to commit to a penguin and didn't know how, and somebody really didn't want to commit to a relationship and didn't know how.
Okay. I can work with just commitment. Okay, yeah. Can't commit to a wild animal and can't commit to a woman who may also be a bit of a wild animal.
If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Allie, you animal, you. Okay, well.
It's the hair in the shower drain. That's really what it is.
Yeah. I may or may not have been inspired by somebody else when I wrote that line. Woman upstairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this went well for my first Zoom episode, leading it on my own and not having Amanda with me.
Your bestie. Yeah.
I have enjoyed having you on.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope I did well in my first dramatic story reading.
Yeah, I think you did great. And if anybody wants to check out more from Alecia, she is with the show Twisted and Uncorked. And I will put some links in the show notes for you there. And also, obviously, socials as well. We'll put your logo up or something.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
Anything else you want to share or anything?
Don't steal penguins.
Don't steal penguins.
That's my life advice.
Yeah. And remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Seriously Sinister.
If you have a true petty crime story to share, please email us at seriouslysinisterpodcast@gmail.com or send us a Facebook message.
If you would like to support our show, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
Also, tell your friends about this podcast.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seriously Sinister Podcast.
And on Twitter at SeriouslySinPod.
Shout out to Trevin for writing all of the original music you hear and for producing our show. Follow him and his music at Fiesta Maiden on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Facebook.
And credit to Miranda Lucas for our awesome logo. You can find her on Instagram at MirandaLucas26.
All stories are written by myself and Trevin, and all stories are based on actual, true petty crimes.
We really are all doomed, let's face it.